Well, hello, dear friends. It's good to be back. It's March and we're getting back to stitching. And so hopefully everyone is doing well and you're enjoying some sunshine as we get closer and closer to spring. And since we are, I wanted this month to focus on play. Yes, play for adults. We need and deserve it too. And we'll talk about the benefits of what play can be. It's not just for those of us who are educators, not just for thinking about how we can engage students in play in order for them to learn. We want play as adults. It's how we actually get to enjoy life. So one of the ways that I wanted to talk about with play was just color choice. And I've got a wide variety of different colors and fabrics and things and some threads. So I just thought we would kind of spend some time, maybe a little bit of color theory, and then kind of pick out some things. And I'll show you some of the projects that I was going to work on. Before we do that, before I forget, I did in the last video share that I was making my own little scarf, and I had gotten through January, and then I really liked being able to layer the fabric and enjoyed sewing that a little bit more. And so it's really just kind of, I found myself already beginning to play. And again, I finished most of this at the end of February. So I played with the gingham and how to stitch over some of that on both sides. I did different angles here. This is going this way and that. Same thing with the flower pattern. And then I really just got back to circles. I find that I really enjoyed the circles on those right there. And so then March is going to come up, and maybe as I engage with some of the colors, I might go ahead and start picking out some things that were going to go there. So that's how that's coming along. But I am also participating in 52 flags handmade, and really I'm finishing my tags. This was number 8, and it was about satin stitch, and so I did a color wheel and with kind of color theory and satin stitch that and just finished the other day. So that was kind of my take on that. But I think I've said that I have been learning watercolor, and so that gave me a whole new perspective on color and why I might select certain fabrics. Now, if you want to get more in depth into color theory, there's way better videos. I was just going to show you this little thing. I guess it's a little tool that I got from the art store that helps with mixing different colors in paints, which I'm not really great at yet, but I'll get there. So I just kind of want to pull out, yes, of course, they're the colors of the rainbow. And this is designed in that the 3 primary colors are offset from each other in a certain way. And between each of the primary colors are 3. So that when we go from red and yellow in, there is a middle color. And this is the secondary color. So when we mix red and yellow, we get orange. But then there are also tertiary colors, so whenever you mix red and a little bit of orange, you get red-orange. It's not rocket science there. But what's intriguing to me was not just necessarily how, of course, we make colors. That's something that I taught in kindergarten, and I know you know how to blend colors. But I like this idea of knowing the complementary colors across from each other, and how when you use one, they really make each other, they bring each other out. So whenever you're using yellow and blue, the blue is going to really make the yellow pop, and vice versa, and they just kind of look nice together. The same thing, I mean, lo and behold, red and green, and those of you who might celebrate Christmas, that might just be why they look so good together. My least favorite colors, just my own personal preference, are orange and purple. I don't use a lot of those colors, but I really like seeing kind of where they are and how they could be offset, having blue and orange together. So I just kind of draw that to your attention, and I thought we could maybe look at some different combinations and, beyond just thinking about, ooh, I really like those colors together. Maybe there's a little bit of a reason why we do. So I'm going to set that there. Let's just kind of pick some. And this is going to be my opinion, but we'll also look cross-check here. So for me, again, purples aren't my favorite, but I do have some purple and some lavender here, and they're pretty lovely. But if we see on the color wheel, and of course there's hues and different tones and all sorts of things that go together with that. But if we look at different colors, I always, if I am going to use a purple, I really like yellow and purple together. And so I kind of see how that's a little bit offset, with the purpley piece. It is almost completely complementary colors. And so I can see why I might like those two together. At the same time, this is a little bit yellow-green. And so you can see when they're next to each other, they're not necessarily complementary colors. I think there's a term for it, but kind of in sets of 3, those are said to kind of look good together because they are, kind of in close range or mixed with each other. And so they're going to look nice. So those kind. And actually, with the exception of this, maybe there's a little too much red in there. And red and purple are a no-go for me. I like these. They kind of remind me of Eastery colors. And then I had to pull out some red felt because honestly, I don't really know why, but I have no red fabric in my stash right now. But again, if I was doing red and I had this lovely red and green, it does look really good together. I often like to do a plain color with a printed color, and I kind of like that. And then this one in particular, so whenever you get into the printed, well, then what do you kind of do? I'm a big fan of navy and mint, and again, orange isn't my favorite, but there's something about when it's orange and blue together. And as I saw, orange here offset by blue, I can see that in this fabric, and I really like that together. And then there's kind of, I'm not sure, I guess mint would come a little bit over here. And so we've got mint and we've got this red-orange across. So I think that that's why a lot of this, to me, looks great. So as you're playing around and coming up with different fabrics that you like, and you're slow stitching, if you want to do multiple layers, that's something that you can consider and think about. Look online, learn a little bit more about color theory, maybe find out why you like the colors that you like. I'm going to leave this little guy here too. I kind of like having this. It's almost maybe going to be a tool that I'll use. So I'm going to do a strip this month, and I'm going to play. And the first part is, of course, picking colors, and then comes the threads. So I'll get to that a little bit later, maybe this week. So I have this in my stash and the sunflowers with Ukraine, and that being so special, I went ahead and thought I would go ahead and pull out this sunflower, and it's got the green and the yellow going together. Again, they're kind of complementary, looking pretty good. And then that reddish pink over here, pink and green. Again, it's a little bit, it's not red, but it's a shade, it's a hue. And then I picked this out, and I think I'm going to have it down here because it looks kind of like waves. And then I like to offset and balance the colors. I think I'm going to have it this way. I have a plan for some stitching in here. It's going to be kind of fun. And then to kind of balance that this is straight, I'm going to do this here. Now it doesn't match perfectly, but it has kind of that red, some of that darker color. So I thought that looked really nice there. So I'm going to pin those down and come back and we might have a little chat and a little sewing for a little bit.